So this majestic and powerful book was revealed to a man who was the best of mankind. He was the only person in history whose life has been recorded down to the finest details. How he woke up, how he went to sleep, what he did during the day, what he did during the night, how he spent his time with his family and relatives, how was his attitude towards his friends and towards his enemies, how he walked, how he talked, how he ate, what he said, and even what he did not say. The times when he chose to say nothing at all. All of these things have been recorded with utmost perfection in history. No king or ruler or emperor or leader has ever had this honor. The honor that is given to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. Allah Ta'ala has mentioned in the Holy Qur'an in Surah Al-Qalam, chapter 68, verse 4, and verily you, O Muhammad, are on an exalted standard of character, on the highest level of character and morality, and as an example for all. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, when He made the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, an example for all mankind, He had to preserve the characteristics, the qualities of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him as well. That's why his entire life has been documented for us. Each and every single thing he used to do has been documented. What he liked, what he disliked. All of those things. The famous French historian, Lamartine, in his book called History of the Turks, in 1854 said, philosopher, orator, apostle, legislator, warrior, conqueror of ideas, restorer of rational dogmas, of a cult without images, the founder of 20 terrestrial empires and 1 spiritual empire. That is Muhammad. As regards all standards by which human greatness may be measured, we may well ask, is there any man greater than he? Reverend R. Bosworth Smith, in his book called Muhammad and Mohammedanism, said in 1946 that head of the state as well as the church, he was the Caesar and Pope in one. But he was Pope without the Pope's claims, and he was Caesar without the legions of Caesar, without a standing army, without a bodyguard, without a palace, or even without a fixed revenue. If ever a man had the right to say that he ruled by right divine, it was Muhammad. For he had all the power without the instruments and without its support. This was the life of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. And these are words of non-Muslims who are also forced to acknowledge what a wonderful and great personality and an example for mankind the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, was. Now, apart from the Holy Quran, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, performed many other miracles with the permission of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, which are often overlooked. One such miracle is the miracle of the journey that he took one night to Jerusalem and then to the heavens. The part of the journey where he went to Jerusalem is called Isra, the night journey. And from Jerusalem to the heavens is called the Miraj. And he did this entire journey in one night and came back to find things just as he had left them. He travelled up to the heavens with the help of Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, the angel Gabriel, who took him to the first heaven, then the second, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth, sixth and seventh. And as he went up, he met different prophets on each level. And all the prophets greeted him and sent their blessings and good wishes upon him. And he saw various things as he went through all of these levels. And then finally, he was in the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala himself. And it was then that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gave the command of the obligatory salah, or the namaz, or the prayer. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala had initially given the command to pray 50 times a day. Every Muslim, man or woman, should pray 50 times a day. And as the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, was making his way down, He met Hazrat Musa AS, Prophet Moses, who said that 50 is too much. I have had an experience of dealing with people. I have dealt with the people of the Bani Israel, and I know that man will not pray 50 times a day. So go back up and get it reduced. So the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, went back up, asked for the number to be reduced, came back down, and this kept on happening. And each time, Prophet Musa AS told him the same thing: get it reduced further, get it reduced further. Until a time came when only 5 prayers a day were left. And even then, Hazrat Musa AS said that even this number is too much. Trust me, I have more experience than you when it comes to dealing with men, and they will never pray 5 times a day. Go and get this number reduced. And at that, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said, I am too ashamed. I have gone back and forth too many times, and I cannot do it again. And I think me and my ummah will have to settle with this 5 prayers a day. Now, what is the logic behind 50 prayers and then bringing it down to 5? If Allah Ta'ala knew that it was going to be 5 prayers at the end of the day, why start with 50? And why not did the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, get the number reduced to 1 prayer a day or 2 prayers a day? Well, the first reason is that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala started with 50 to show His mercy to mankind. Because if it had been an order to pray 50 times a day, could you have done anything to stop it? Nothing. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gave us out of His blessings and mercy the leverage that okay, you don't pray 50, you pray 5 times a day. The second blessing and mercy that came out of this was that from this day onwards, every good deed that a person did, he got 10 times the reward for that good deed. So even if you pray 5 times a day, you still get the reward for 50. This is the mercy and blessing of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That for each good act that you have done, you get 10 times the reward. Another hidden message that actually comes out of this is that we get to see that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created us for no other reason than to worship Him. This is why He has created us. Because imagine if you had to pay 50 times a day. 50 times a day. There are 24 hours in a day. So double that, you have to pray almost twice every hour. So your entire day, possibly even your night, would have been spent in prayer. So this shows us that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has created us for no other reason than for us to worship Him, to do His ibadah. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala mentions in Surah Dhariyat chapter 51 verse 56, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I did not create the jinns and mankind except to worship me. This is our purpose of life. If you think that there is another purpose, there is none. This is the only reason why man has been created and sent to this earth. To be constantly engaged in the ibadah of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Ibadah has many shapes and forms, and that, if we talk about it, is a different lecture altogether. But the idea is to constantly stay in remembrance of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, thanking Him, thinking of Him 24/7. That's the idea. Even if it was 1 prayer a day, there would still be people who would find an excuse not to pray that 1 prayer a day. That's the wisdom behind it. Now, in this journey of the Miraj, it was a phenomenal journey, a fantastic journey that the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, took. It was a journey that broke the barriers of space and time. And when the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, had returned from this journey, and when he woke up the following morning, he was extremely worried because he knew that the people will not believe him. He had been Sadiq and Ameen all his life. He had never told a single lie. He had always been the honest and the truthful one. People had always trusted him. But now he was facing a dilemma. He was worried because now when he will tell his people, the people of Arabia, that he has just traveled millions of light years away into heavens, up in the heavens, and come back the same night, travel to Jerusalem that night, a journey which used to take about a month and a half, people will laugh. People will not believe him. So imagine if you were in his shoes, if you had actually witnessed and experienced such a fantastic phenomena, and you had to tell your closest relatives and friends and family and all the people around you about that event. How would you feel? Wouldn't that make you feel like these people are not going to accept it? What will they say? What will people think?